In this video, we're going to read through the first few paragraphs of the book, The Adventure of the Blue Carbuncle. That's by Arthur Conan Doyle, and it's a Sherlock Holmes mystery. I'll read through it, follow along with the text on the screen, and then at the end we'll examine some of the words and phrases that will probably need explaining and defining. If there's any other words that you find that you don't understand, please leave a comment and ask, and I'll get back to you. So here it is, The Adventure of the Blue Carbuncle by Arthur Conan Doyle. I had called upon my friend Sherlock Holmes upon the second morning after Christmas with the intention of wishing him the compliments of the season. He was lounging upon the sofa in a purple dressing gown, a pipe rack within his reach upon the right, and a pile of crumpled morning papers, evidently newly studied, near at hand. Beside the couch was a wooden chair, and on the angle of the back hung a very seedy and disreputable hard felt hat, much the worse for wear and cracked in several places. A lens and a forceps lying on the seat of the chair suggested that the hat had been suspended in this manner for the purpose of examination. "You are engaged," said I. "Perhaps I interrupt you." "Not at all. I am glad to have a friend with whom I can discuss my results. The matter is a perfectly trivial one." He jerked his thumb in the direction of the old hat. "But there are points in connection with it which are not entirely devoid of interest and even of instruction." I seated myself in his armchair and warmed my hands before his crackling fire, for a sharp frost had set in, and the windows were thick with ice crystals. "I suppose," I remarked, "that, homely as it looks, this thing has some deadly story linked onto it, that it is the clue which will guide you in the solution of some mystery and the punishment of some crime." No crime," said Sherlock Holmes, laughing. "Only one of those whimsical little incidents which will happen when we have 4 million human beings all jostling each other within the space of a few square miles. Amid the action and reaction of so dense a swarm of humanity, every possible combination of events may be expected to take place, and many a little problem will be presented which may be striking and bizarre without being criminal. We have already had experience of such." So we'll leave the reading there. Let's go over some of the words and phrases that we may have seen. Now, the first one I want to call your attention to is the word lounging. He was lounging upon the sofa. Now, lounging is when you lie, sit, or stand in a relaxed or lazy way. Generally, people lounge around, kind of a lazy, relaxed way in maybe on a Saturday morning or a Sunday when most people don't have much to do. They lounge around the house. Next word is crumpled. You see that? Crumpled. A pile of crumpled morning papers, evidently newly studied. So crumpled, in this context, is crushed to form creases and wrinkles. So it's either been folded or squashed together, and the paper is crumpled. Now, when he describes this hat, he says that it was a very seedy and disreputable hard felt hat. Seedy and disreputable. Really, they are synonyms, one of the other. Seedy means sordid and disreputable. So, disreputable is similar to seedy or sordid. And sordid, then, explaining a bit more about these words, is very obvious and unacceptable. So seedy and disreputable note something that's very obviously wrong and unacceptable. When Watson enters and sees Holmes, he says, "You are engaged." Now today we understand that phrase to mean you're engaged to be married. But at the time, you could use that, "you are engaged," to say you are busy. I see that you are engaged. I see that you are busy. That's another way of saying it. He mentions trivial. So it's the matter is a perfectly trivial one. So first of all, trivial is something of little value or importance. A trivial matter. But here he used perfectly trivial. Perfectly. It's used for emphasis. So it's not just a trivial matter, it's very trivial. Very little value or importance. Perfectly trivial. Now, do you see the word that describes the fire is crackling fire? Crackling. So that's obviously from the verb crackle. Crackling is a sound that are made up of a rapid succession of short, sharp noises. You can imagine a fire, the noise a fire makes. And then it talks of, just after that, he's by the fire because there has been a sharp frost. A sharp frost. Now, frost, as you may know, is the thin white layer of ice that forms when the air temperature is below freezing. So, frost. And a sharp frost is like a sudden or severe frost, usually that forms overnight when the car windows are covered in ice. I hate that. Now, homely. It uses the word homely. I think Watson says homely. I suppose I remarked that homely as this thing looks. Homely as it looks. So homely is simple but cozy and comfortable. Obviously it's like one's home because where the word comes from, homely. But cozy and comfortable, the hat he's talking about is something that's not in great condition, but comfy and nice to wear. Now the next word, Sherlock Holmes laughing, only one of those whimsical little incidents. So, whimsical. What does whimsical mean? Playfully quaint or fanciful, especially in an appealing and amusing way. I understand whimsical, kind of amusing, light, nothing serious. And so these incidents are small and amusing, nothing serious or harmful. It talks about 4 million beings all jostling each other. Jostling. To jostle. So jostle is push or elbow or bump against someone roughly, typically in a crowd. So you can imagine the scene when there's a big crowd and everyone's pushing around and trying to get by. And that's what you meant when there's 4 million people in London jostling each other. The next phrase, the last one that we're going to see here, many a little problem will be presented which may be striking and bizarre. Striking is defined as attracting attention by reason of being unusual, extreme, or prominent. So something striking is something that attracts your attention. Bizarre is something very strange or unusual. So, what he said, something that may be striking and bizarre, is something that gets your attention, but isn't actually criminal. He says, without being criminal. So there's a few words in the first few paragraphs of this story, The Adventure of the Blue Carbuncle by Arthur Conan Doyle, the Sherlock Holmes mystery. You can see a link to the physical book if you like to read physical books, paper, remember that. Or we will continue reading this in the next video. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this short a short part of Sherlock Holmes, of this English reading. We'll carry on with it in the next video. May do a little bit more, and then we'll see what words and phrases we find in that section. So, thanks for watching. Keep practicing, keep reading, keep listening to the audiobooks, and keep learning British English. See you next time.